Alright, what's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video, but pretty much I'm going to be going over my month of February, um, the month of February's trading journal. I'm going to be going over my top three losses, excuse me, and my top three winners, and going over some of the stats, things I did wrong and things I did right this last month to prepare me for this month, pretty much the month of March, that we already started 2 days into it. And yeah, let's dive into it. So this $40 net P&L, don't take this into consideration. Take the monthly stat in this one. So I netted negative $1.79, and I traded 14 days out of the month, with the first week being negative 122, the second week being a break-even week, the third week being my best week with a profit of $206, and week four being an $82.80 loss. So going into a little bit more of the stats. We can see my average win to loss trade is a 2-to-1. So my average win is double my loser. Um, I win about 43% of the days. So I was green 7 days and I was red 9 days. And my profit factor was about a 1-to-1. My profit factor was a 1. So it was like right on pretty much break even or making a little bit of money. And my winning percentage, I think this date was 33%. It wasn't 31. This changed when I last imported my new trades for the the month of March. And so we can pretty much see my P&L was like as such. Once again, not taking this side into consideration, but pretty much I started the month off green with a $40 win, and I end up coming down to a total loss of 166. So it was a pretty exponential, you know, um, downside. You know, I was losing pretty much like I was losing a lot. Half of the month. It took me half of the month to recover, another 10 days to recover and be in profit by 81. And then I ended up finishing the month off break even. I ended up making the finishing the month off break even, not really making much and not losing much. So yeah, so we can see here as well. My biggest day was a $136 winner, with my biggest losing day being an $86 loser. Um, we're having more frequent losing days, right? And we're having less winning days. But one thing I want to dive into um, is that what we can see from my trades is the days that I trade more, I tend to have more trades are losing days, right? So I have 2 trades on this day, 1 trade, 2 trades, 6 trades on this trade, 3 trades, 1 trade, and these are green trades. For my losing trades, I have 4, 3, 8, 7, 2, 6, 5. So these days in which I'm losing, I tend to trade more. But these days that I keep it simple and trade once or twice, 3 times even, I'm still being able to on average, come out profitable. And when I do lose these two trades, 2 trades, 3 trades, they're fairly reasonable trades. They're fairly reasonable losers. So now I want to get into the first trade that this is the my number one trade of the month. This is the trade that made me the most money. and it was a long trade with two option contracts, a net return of investment of 31%, and this was a, let's see, average entry 143, average exit 188, right? So let's replay this trade and see what happened. So I purchased this trade down in this area after it made a huge move to the downside. And yeah, we can play this video. And I got out there. So pretty much with this trade, this was in an area of imbalance and it had an over, it had a huge move to the downside. As you guys can see, there's a pre-market area of support, area in which buyers had stepped in previously. It didn't respect this area over here, but then it broke down, started to see buyers come in. As you guys can see with this big green buying volume candle, it's much more bigger than this one. So this buying candle is the one that I got into. I got into this trade and I got out when it came back to an area of confliction. So I got into it on this candle and I got out when it came into an area that was once supported and now it's acting as a resistance. So I got out of that trade, which ended up being a pretty good place to get out, as you guys can see. And then after that, it provided a re-entry, or it did its thing, right? But I was able to capitalize on a little bounce to the upside, making if I'm not mistaken, it was a little more than a 4.5 to 1 on my risk to reward. Risking $20, I made 90. So that was the first trade. This was for the month of March. Let's go back to the month of February. On my second trade, I made a $80 winner. This was a 4 to 1 trade in which I had went short on the market. Reason being, as you guys can see, um, we can see this. Let's see if we can create a box. Um, so pretty much, this is an area of pre-market resistance, right? I'm gonna take that off, but where it's trading at, you can see this is an area in which I had rejected pre-market. So this is an area of demand where demand exceeds supply, an area in which pre-market the sellers were much more aggressive than the buyers, right? So this is where I seen it was bull flagging after a huge move to the upside. This is imbalance. It's an unhealthy move. It bounced, where it bounced in the pre-market session, and then it made a move to the upside, going up excuse me, going up into this period in which it was rejected pre-market. So I got in at this on the short position onto this candle, and I got out on this next candle over here. Ended up making my 4 to 1. This was a fantastic idea because we have a you know we're not just guessing the we're not just guessing the move, right? We see that in this area, buyers have previously, rejected this price, this price range. So it's an area in which buyers aren't willing to pay. So I came into here pre-market and got rejected, and then it made a second rejection, confirmation of the selling pressure below. I mean, the selling pressure, and then it continued its move to the downside, which I end up playing on it. Um, and I got out for my 4-1. So great trade there. And on my third biggest trade, if I'm not mistaken, I think it should be here, $66. Okay, so on this trade, I think this is the spy call. Okay, cool. So with this trade, if we skip it a bit, we can see that this is a highly volatile day. You know, we have a period in which this stock is, making a series of higher lows, higher highs, and then continuing its move to the upside. This had made a really strong push to the downside and came into an area in which there was, buyers and sellers previously, right? So I tend to I like to trade in these areas because what I would consider them is an area in which, buyers and sellers are agreeing on price. It's so therefore it is a area in which it's a balance, there's balance between buyers and sellers. And then after you can see, when it gets out of these areas of balance, it gets imbalanced, it becomes an area after that a period of imbalance. So I had purchased this stock when it came into this area of balance, targeting these areas of imbalance, and pretty much just scalping the moves. As we can see, it's happened once, it's happened twice, and it happened a third time. So I pretty much was trading the obvious, and I was getting in areas where buyers have stepped in previously and getting out when sellers have stepped in, you know, as well. So another great top two losing days, and we're gonna see that, you know, as you guys can see here, as I was stating before, the days that I lose and I'm losing pretty consistently, it's not going as good. But as you guys can see, all of my trades are managed, are all going to be around the same. I'm losing always the same amount, but it's the fact that I overtrade, which it makes it accumulate, it makes it stack. It it pretty much it adds up and it creates a big red day for me. I don't ever have a big loser. I could ever say I have a big loser because I don't have just one big loser. I have many losers that accumulate and then end up, causing a bigger losing day, right? So if we just, if we go here and we click all these trades and then have them show up on the market, you're gonna see how quickly I lose. So um, that I think that first trade was this. It was a call. Immediately got stopped out. Um, this is an area, after a big move to the downside. Pretty much, I'm just trading against the trend, right? So I try it again, get stopped out, and try it again. I get stopped out. Try it again, stopped out. As you guys can see, if I just reversed my thesis, if I just reversed what I was thinking, all of these trades would have been profitable. Even this trade, I would have, it would have been great. But the thing is, we can't. It's unrealistic to win every trade. But what I can say is, if I'm, looking for a long trade and I'm looking to buy in this area because buyers are stepping in and sellers take over, it's completely invalidated my thesis and I should no longer look for a long trade, at least till something else presents itself, right? Maybe this right here at this area of support would have been a better idea, but at the end of the day, if I see that selling pressure is stepping in and it's going into areas in which buyers aren't able to support it, when it's previously supported, I should probably look to take a short trade. I'm not saying this in the sense that, you know, it would have been wrong for me to look for a long, but the what was wrong was me looking for a long and trying to be proven right. As you guys can see, over a four trades, I was just pretty much trying to be right about this trade instead of just taking my loss, maybe trying it again, taking a second loss, and just being like, hey, let's take a step back and let's see what's really going on here and trying to diagnose the issue, right? So that's pretty much what happened on that day. And let's go over one more day. So, um, my second biggest losing day was this $65 losing day. As you guys can see, pretty similar. My losing days are pretty similar. It's where I have like I'm managing my risk, but it's not about the risk. It's about, it's about what's going on in my head pretty much. Like, um, let's see, because I'm still learning this platform, so please be patient with me. Review details, replay, and then let's put these losers on the chart, right? So that was a call. I get stopped out. Uh-huh. So I go on a call. I get stopped out. With this trade, I don't ever really buy as high as I did this day. So this trade was completely emotional. This was an emotional trade, I can admit, because I don't purchase it as high as I did. Another buy, another stop out. Pretty much I was looking for this break and retest. So I saw a period of consolidation. After it had broke out and this area was being supported. But what had happened was sellers became more aggressive in this area and it continued its move to the downside. So this trade I feel like had more context to it. This trade I got in, I got stopped out, I got wicked out pretty much. Oh, I remember this trade too. It ends up like my thesis, like what I was thinking was correct on this day. What I was thinking was correct on this day. Like you guys can see, I put my fourth trade on the chart, but pretty much I'm looking to buy and I have my stop loss on the bottom of here, buy and stop loss at the bottom here, and then looking for a continuation to the move. So I was like my thesis was right, the buyers were there when I was looking at them, but the thing was my stop was too tight for pretty much this amount of choppiness. I wasn't able to hold it and I was getting chopped out of these trades. But that's what was happening on this, especially holding the options premium. Um, I wasn't able to, capitalize on the move, and I could have at least got out for a little squeeze, at least towards this area of resistance where it's has been rejected previously, like over here in these areas. It would have been a pretty nice target. And this was also a pretty good buy in my idea and my, you know, but it just with the amount of wicks, like I should have at least tried to avoided this, but it's easier said than done. But yeah, this pretty much concludes the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found this informative in some way, and I hope you guys learned something from the mistakes that I've made. Um, So yeah, pretty much what I'm looking to do is just try to, um, you know, have a better month this month, you know, and One thing I gotta do is probably when I am losing, of course, trade less. Probably leave myself to a two trade stop loss, like only risk. If I'm losing two trades in a row, just get out for the day. And when I'm winning, look to capitalize, on the confidence that I have, and take on trades, take on risk if it presents itself. And yeah, pretty much kind of stop this over trading. Um, so I can boost this trading percentage, because my average win to loss is good, but it's the fact that I'm not winning enough. If I had a 3-to-1, I would be more profitable. But this is like a break even. On this month it was a break even with a 2-to-1, 31%. I think it was a little more than that before this update. But uh yeah, looking at try to take on more high probability trades, trade less, manage my risk, you know, stick to a certain stop loss, and just try to have a better month this month. And for this month at least, so far we're down $39. This trade should have been managed. The same problem I had last month with that one day. Um, you know, my $80 loser was almost a month ago, and everything else was pretty managed. This was an excessive amount, but once again, I got into that, so I need to now. Today, moving forward, I need to, just stop at that certain stop loss that I give myself, and try my best to, take only high probability setups. As you guys can see, with 3 trades, I was making money. With 6 trades, it was starting to over trade. You guys can see it's all pretty similar. So looking to just try to better this. With this data that I have, I should be able to, do something about it, and I will. So yeah, this pretty much concludes the video. And if you guys found this helpful in any way, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.